Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. Hope you enjoy. Story number 1. Happy Valentine's Day, written by AC1308. Sir, can we talk together? I need the viewpoint of another. Sir turned to see Keller hurrying towards him. He paused to wait for her, despite the fact that she was in ongoing romantic liaison with Harry Coulson, the station's human tech. She always had time for him. All the station crew were bipedal and at least semi-mammalian, so it wasn't unusual for cross-species relationships to go this far. Dasser himself was spending nesting time with Galessa, a flightless avian, so he had no judgment to make on Keller's choices. Where he and most of the others had to pause and reconsider was the fact that she had chosen Harry. There was nothing wrong with Harry Coulson as a person and a technician. He was impressively good at his job, and when he encountered something he didn't know, he could often figure out a workaround. Dasser enjoyed spending time with him and listening to his stories of growing up on Earth. However wildly they might have been exaggerated. As a sole human on the station, he was neither snobbish nor arrogant, but actively tried to fit in with everyone else's needs and wants. The sole problem was that Harry was a carnivore, a member of a species that had actively hunted and killed other living creatures and eaten their flesh. Even now, it was said they preferred the flesh of the domesticated animals that were raised to adulthood and slaughtered before being prepared for ingestion over synthesized food. Harry himself had stated on more than one occasion that he could always tell the difference, and that synth food was less satisfying. But still, in order to reduce worry amongst other species on the station, he chose to eat synth food instead of ordering in actual pieces of once living creatures. Everyone had been more than a little surprised when Keller had expressed an interest in a member of the only carnivorous species in the Galactic Union. But she had persisted despite the concern of others and appeared happy within the relationship. Until now, of course. "What is the matter?" asked Dasser. "Is Harry well?"
"Harry is healthy and happy," Keller said. "But he has done something today that confuses and puzzles me."
"Harry is a human," Dasser reminded her, as if she did not know that already. "He does many things that confuse and puzzle us."
"Oh, I understand most of his ways by now." Keller tossed aside the comment like yesterday's orders. "But he did something today that he has never done before. You see, today's date on Earth, allowing for relativistic differences, is apparently a day of bonding between those who are romantically attracted to each other." Dasser tilted his crest. "Well, that sounds remarkably wholesome. Perhaps we should institute it for the whole station. Where is the concern?" "The concern is how it is demonstrated."
Dasser handed him a sheet of pressed fibers that had been folded over, with words and images inscribed on it, apparently using ordinarily marking pens. He took it, noted the odd symmetrical shape drawn in the red and the front, took curves at the top, a point at the bottom, then opened it and read the words, "To Keller, be my Valentine, Harry." "What is Valentine?"
She grimaced. He tried to explain, but all I really understood was that it was a word for someone who is loved and loves in return. There is a historical context, but he didn't wish to go too deeply into it.
Sounds complicated, but not too bad. Dasser wasn't surprised about Harry not wanting to go into the historical context. A lot of human history had been marked as being off-limits to most Galactic Union species, due to the immense amount of bloodshed and horror they had inflicted on one another. He'd once watched a performance of one of their greatest love stories and been horribly traumatized by the fact that both had died at the end. "This is quaint and cute, but I do not see what the problem is."
"The problem is this."
She took the folded cardboard back and tapped on the odd sigil on the front.
"Do you know what this is?"
He studied the image more closely. Although hand-drawn, it showed attention to detail in both the sides were matching each other. "I am afraid I don't."
"It's a symbolic imagery of a human heart."
His brain stuttered to a halt before getting back on track. "What? A vital organ? He gave you a picture of one of these vital organs?" He belatedly recalled that red, the color of the image, was also the color of human blood.
"Yes."
She looked down at the card.
He said it was symbolic of him handing me his actual heart. This raised questions Sir wasn't sure he wanted to ask.
Can they survive without their hearts?
No, not usually. She stared at him. What does it mean? Sir didn't want to get this wrong.
What does Harry say it means?
That he loves me. She looked as though she wanted to be reassured.
Then I would take it in the spirit that it was given, and not ask any questions that might raise worrying answers.
He gestured towards the card in her hand.
And if he ever shows signs of wanting to perform surgery on his own heart, inform the medbay at once.
Yes, I will do that, she paused. Should I make a card for him as well? He considered the question.
No, it's best not to get it wrong.
That's a good point. I'll just tell him I love him.
Probably for the best. He is a good man.
I know. Just very strange at times. Thank you for listening to me.
Anytime.
She hurried off, leaving Sir to his thoughts.
Who gives someone a picture of their vital organs as a gesture of affection? Humans are bizarre.
End of story. Story number 2. Uniformly Human. Written by Rosie013. Nilta was bored. Dad was talking with another grown-up again, and she couldn't run off and play with him, holding her hand so tightly. It shouldn't have been a big deal. She had promised not to do so again after the last 4 times. But this time, Dad held firm. Literally. Pouting wasn't working either. Her dad was deeply engrossed in whatever boring stuff grown-ups talked about, to care about her miserable predicament. There didn't seem to be much else of interest around the food court either. Other sapiens ordering or sitting to eat after busily shopping. Probably for toys, Nilta thought. Why couldn't she get more toys? It could help with the boredom. Unexpectedly, something interesting caught her eye. A strange alien had just started to order from a nearby food shop. It was yellow, not people-colored tan. Not like the sunshine yellow, like yellow. Like it glowed yellow, sort of. Tall as Dad, blue legs. Oh, it was tan-colored. It wasn't skin that was yellow. It was wearing protective clothing. That made more sense. But why? What did it need protecting from? Why was it so brightly yellow? Then an alien appeared, also yellow. It was a different sort. Nilta was sure that the same species had to have the same number of legs, but it was also mostly wearing the same thing. Blue leggings, yellow thorax covering the new addition of white oversized hat. It helped the first yellow stranger pick up the mountain of food it had ordered and carried it off to an entire table of yellow ones. In the dullness of everyone else's muted colors, they practically lit up the room like sunshine. They must have slipped in while she was watching the first yellow person. What was this? Dad would know. Her tugging became frantic as she tried to get his attention. An explanation for the bizarre group. After several eternities, Dad finally looked down at Nilta long enough to follow her gaze and understood what he's bugging his daughter. Humans, all of them. But they're different people, Dad. Who are they? Why are they here? What are they doing? No, sweet one. They are not human species. They are all human identifying. Being human has nothing to do with one species. It's how they behave, merged into one group as they were raised from the same clutch. Even their high-vis uniforms match. No one else in the whole galaxy takes in another people as wholeheartedly as the humans do. They're probably a work gang of some sort, and to your last question, they're eating lunch. Yellow humans, huh? They were interesting. But her dad knew that look. Don't bother them, or they will take you in too. He laughed, and he went back to this boring adult conversation. But the seed of caution had been planted in Nilta's young mind. As she watched, she noticed everyone else was keeping a respectful distance from the small group. Maybe there was more truth to Dad's warnings than she had first thought. It was sometimes hard to tell if Dad was joking around or not. She knew from her schooling already that bright colors usually meant danger of some sort. The uniformed humans were about done with their meal when another different brightly colored creature emerged into the food hall. It was short, broad, dressed similarly to the other humans, and orange. Very, very orange. like if Nilta had shined a light up close to a not yet fully ripe fruit, but even brighter. A different sort of human, maybe, or from a different group. It walked straight up to the yellow humans, angrily shouting words she knew though she wasn't allowed to say, before being immediately surrounded by a group of yellows. Then, without fanfare, they all left together as though nothing had just happened. What? No one even tried to stop them taking the orange human. As the general hubbub of chatter resumed over the muted crowd, she realized Dad was right. They would take you in if you weren't careful. Nilta knew bright colors meant danger, and all the different humans were the brightest people that she had ever seen. End of story.
I would quickly like to thank our Tier 5 patrons and channel members: Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, it's difficult to pronounce, Lord Arishikal, Dragzoon WRE, and Arcadian. Thank you very much.